be able to sing with new meaning, my country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghanies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring.
Beautiful morning to you and welcome to Crossfire on Udala 104.7 FM Onitsha. This very beautiful Saturday morning. Today, we know very well, is one of the special days, and it's January 24th, 2026, in the year of our Lord Jesus Christ. You are welcome wherever you are listening to us from. Remember, on this very platform, on this very show, we speak the truth and we preserve the truth, and we call a spirit a spirit. We can never call a spirit by any other name. That's more reason we say North Disera Veritas, and North Disera Ayurisi Veritas, and North Disera Vivikabit Veritas, and North Disera Lingolum Lingolum, and North Disera Contra Lingolum Lingolum. You are welcome wherever you are listening to us from. For those of you who always join us via the social media handles of Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube, we appreciate all of you. And those who also visit Radio Garden, because you have to go to Radio Garden, download it, and search for Udala FM. You can also go to our website, and then you can also follow us, on what we do there, Udala Radio, www.radioudala.com. You are welcome wherever you are. It is 7 minutes and the hour of 3 a.m. in New York City, United States of America, and 7 minutes and the hour of 8 a.m. in London, UK, United Kingdom, 7 minutes and the hour of 5 p.m. in Tokyo, Japan, 7 minutes and the hour of 4 p.m. in China, 7 minutes and the hour of 9 a.m. in Germany, and 7 minutes and the hour of 8 a.m. in Accra, Ghana, 7 minutes and the hour of 2 a.m. in Chicago, Illinois. It's also 7 minutes and the hour of 10 a.m. in Johannesburg, and 7 minutes and the hour of 12 midnight, or would you call it mid-morning? I don't know. It should be midnight. In Dubai, United Arab Emirates. And it's also 8 minutes and the hour of 2 a.m. in Texas City. For those of you who are joining us from different times, from different places, we acknowledge that. 8 minutes and the hour of 3 a.m. in Ottawa, Canada. And we welcome all of you, even those who are in Delhi, India. It's 38 minutes and the hour of 1 p.m. in Delhi, India. You are all welcome. My name is Tony Olisambeki, the Honorable Speaker. And it's a pleasure to have you on the show this very morning. And as usual, we have a guest who will be joining us to look at the state of the nation, different political developments in the country. And we have no other person in the studio other than Chief Joe Martins Uzodike. He's a legal practitioner, he's a lawyer, former commissioner, information and coach, Anambra State. And he has been in politics for more than 4 decades. And another statesman. And now he has resigned, not just to fate, but without playing partisan politics. It's my pleasure to welcome you, Chief Barrister Joe Martins Uzodike Kanemeze. You're welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. Welcome, listener, and Happy New Year.
You're welcome. It's good to have you. But let's quickly serve you the political random stories across the country. Some political development, making headlines and things you should also know as well. Once we are done with that, we come back to get the ball rolling and then get to the work we have this very morning. Is a very simple one, and then we are going to take it on. We begin with the first story this very morning. The Rivers State High Court Oyibo Division sitting in Port Harcourt on Friday suspended its order restraining the state's chief judge from acting on the request of the State House of Assembly to set up a panel to probe allegations of misconduct against Governor Sim Fubara and Deputy Governor Ngozi Odu. The court adjourned sine die its hearing of the suit filed by the governor and the deputy governor challenging the impeachment process initiated against them by the state assembly. Remember why the court adjourned sine die was because an appeal had been lodged at the appeal court. So it suspended its own hearing pending the determination of the Court of Appeal suit challenging its jurisdiction on the matter and some other things. And even the order, expected order it made restraining the House from, or restraining the Chief Judge from setting up investigative panel pending the determination of the suit filed before him. But then there are those who felt that he shouldn't have issued such order or stopped an arm of government from working. They have proceeded to appeal court to challenge his order. So when the matter came up yesterday, and then the parties involved applied for perpetual injunction restraining the Chief Judge from acting, he said that she has received a notice of appeal at the appeal court. So that's just that. After weeks of speculation, Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf yesterday formally terminated his membership of the New Nigerian People's Party (NNP) in the best interest of the people of the state. According to him, he pulled out of the party with 8 members of the House of Representatives, 21 members of the State House of Assembly, and 44 local government chairman of Kano State. All of the local government chairmen, he went along with it because he put them in there through NNPP, of course. Abuja was brought to a standstill yesterday as the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) threw its full weight behind the ongoing indefinite strike by workers of the Federal Capital Territory Administration (FCTA), declaring an all-out confrontation with what it described as an oppressive and insensitive administration of the FCTA by Yesum Wike. At least 6 residents were killed in Baidi village in the Tanzaga local government area of Sokoto State on Wednesday night during an attack by a suspected terrorist group believed to be affiliated to the Lakurawa network, an armed group active in the area. Tangaza is one of the council areas targeted by a U.S. airstrike last December. It is believed to be used as hideouts by terrorists along the Nigeria-Niger border. The Northeast chairman and commander of hunters and vigilantes, Sarakim Baka, based in Hawu local government area of Borno State, Malam Shawulu Yohana, have confirmed the killing of a pastor, 2 hunters, and other 2 civilians when some suspected members of Boko Haram terrorists invaded Tafa village of Biu local government area of the state. And Tafa is a remote community under Biu that shares border with Hawu local government area. All these things are happening in Borno State. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC) on Friday in Lagos uncovered an illegal factory producing fake Goya meal Goya Oil and dismantled a major syndicate involved in the counterfeiting of alcoholic drinks in Lagos, warning that the activities pose grave dangers to public health. The agency said the discoveries were made during surveillance and enforcement operations carried out over the past few weeks. Former presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party and leader of the Kwankwasiya movement, Rabiu Musa Kwankwasa, has reaffirmed his commitment to his political ideals, declaring that he would not compromise his principles for personal gain. Addressing party supporters at his residence in Kano shortly after the state governor's resignation, Kwankwaso said his long-standing political struggle had always been aimed at emancipation of ordinary Nigerians. And now, second to the last, a Nigerian, Gideon Eze, detained for 6 weeks in Doha. Qatar's capital city has cried out to the federal government and its relevant agencies to intervene in his case to reverse the injustice done to him. Eze's lawyer, Inibehe Effiong, said Eze had boarded Qatar Airways flight from Abuja to the United States on May 7, 2025, but had his trip aborted in Doha due to a profiling and mistreatment incident that resulted from a routine airport security check. And finally, the Armed Forces of Nigeria has assured displaced residents of Kuminwali, Kajuru local government area, Kaduna State of sustained and coordinated efforts to secure the safe rescue of their abducted family members. The Director of Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, said in a statement on Friday that the military had noted the concerns expressed by affected communities, but stressed that the rescue of all kidnapped victims remained a top priority. And those were your political roundup stories, and we move straight to the business we have this very morning. Remember, we still have our guests in the studio, Chief Jomaris Ozodike, who will be speaking to us on a number of some of these issues you heard about, because we are going to look at the state of the nation, the way things are across the length and breadth of this very country. We are heading straight to do justice to that. As always, we thank you for joining us. Let's quickly begin with the development in Kajura local government area in Kaduna State, where a number of people were abducted, kidnapped, but there was an initial denial by the government. We saw the local government chairman in that very state denying any incident. We also saw police commissioner saying there was no incident. In fact, he came out to say that those who were peddling such were entrepreneurs of conflict entrepreneurs. That's what he branded them. And we saw the commissioner of Homeland Security in Kaduna State also denying that there was no such incident. There was outright denial. But we saw Christian organizations, the CAN in that very state, and also CAN in the northern part of the country, saying that these people were kidnapped. They were worshipping Ekwa, Cherubim and Seraphim, and Catholic Church in Kajuru local government. These worshippers were there, armed bandits riding a motorcycle invaded this place, whisked them away to the nearest bushes. But in all of this, the government has made a U-turn by acknowledging actually there was an incident. But just like the chief operation officer of Nigerian Army Media Operation, Major General Noja, saying that it's a top priority for the military to rescue these people. But what we must ask, why was that denial in that place? In the first instance, there was a denial, but they made a U-turn. In fact, at the point, they said that bring evidence, bring the names of those who were kidnapped. But the churches were quick to bring those names and look at the numbers. We've got so many accounts, 172, 162. We are told that about 9 escaped, and so many things happened. And even as we speak about this, there was another incident in Biu. Biu is in Borno, and there have been incidents from every corner of the country. Let me get to know from you the denial and letter acceptance. And now the military is saying it's a top priority. Nigerians are asking questions. Why can't we stop these bandits?
Well, the question is why the denial? The denial is a normal factor in a place like Nigeria. Telling lies is no more a sin as far as the young fellows are concerned. No, the present generation, telling lies or lying about anything is no more a sin. Even in court, as a lawyer, even when somebody is caught red-handed and the charge is read for him or her in court, the first thing you will hear is I'm not guilty. And I'm not guilty gives the person some latitude, some space to organize themselves. I'm not guilty. But when the facts and figures are produced and the person is caught beyond reasonable doubt, because all criminal charges are to be proved beyond reasonable doubts. When it is proven beyond reasonable doubt the person has done that, he will go to jail. But in the interim, that fact of saying I am not guilty in the first instance offers him some space to either go behind the settle out of court, go behind the dock and then settle the matters. So lying is part of government's system to see what they can do about the situation. In this very instance, all eyes are on Nigeria. The United States, all the foreign powers are on Nigeria. And the issue is, are Christians being murdered? Nigerians have brought up a narrative saying Christians are not murdered. Nigerians are murdered. They are Muslims, are this. And in this very instance now, it is specific. The news is that 177 persons, all Christians, were abducted. So how do you expect Nigerians to say it is true? They would have preferred that it is said Northerners were abducted or something like that. So the Nigerian line is to give them space to look for an alibi, to look for an answer to what has happened. So as far as I'm concerned, at government level, if government comes out immediately and say yes, 177 Christians they will be playing directly into their opponents then. So their denial is not denial, but an act of normal Nigerian way of living, where every criminal says I'm not guilty at the first instance and returns back to plead guilty when he's proved beyond reasonable doubt.
All right, I think you have been able to explain this, but I also think that this is usual thing that government functionaries do. Maybe during your time as a commissioner, there were some informations you people were able to bend in a way to suit what government would have actually wanted. We've seen situations where government will try to manage this information system, try to create one impression because they are selling impression. That's what government do. Government sell impression, not that they sell the real fact. They sell impression to the people so that people will not dislike government or in anything that will bring shame or friction between them and the people. So government try to sell impression and they use different marketing tools to sell impression. Of course, you were once in government and you did something like that.
Well, government as a government has dual responsibilities to ensure stability of a state or country, and at the same time to make sure that people are properly informed. Sometimes there are informations, assuming you say 3 churches were attacked in Kaduna State, 77 persons killed, and government comes and says it's true. Then you can be sure that on that Sunday, on that very day of worship, the other churches will close down. They won't worship at all. They will all scamper for their lives. But if government comes out and says it's not true, people will continue to worship, because having that church attacked, the rest will not be attacked at the same time. So at least things will move normal. But if government is a panic, help in spreading panic. So sometimes it is done in order to make people feel at ease when there is no ease. Okay, so information management has a system, but in the quest of Nigeria, they are doing it not in order not to collaborate with the facts already known that Christians, especially in the minority norths in Nigeria, are being targeted and massacred. I lived in the north. I schooled in Sokoto. So I know all the areas you're talking about, and I know that the only way Nigeria can be saved is by denial and constant denial, and the military coming out every now and then to say, we have done this, we have done that, we have captured this, we have killed so and so person, even when some of those people in the next couple of days rear their heads and we see them on videos and whatever. But they are doing what management is all about. In war, when you are fighting a war, you don't announce the number of troops that are killed. During the Biafran War, Kokon then will tell us that Ubunigwe buru mmadụ 1 million in the house, and you look for where the 1 million people are, you find that it is our people that are retreating and coming back out of the firepower of the federal forces and things like that. So information management is key. It's not let's not dwell so much on denials and counter denials, because denials are normal system of our lives.
All right, we have to also take a moment at this point. When we come back, we are going to continue with the conversation. Remember, we are talking about insecurity generally in the country. We are talking about the denial, and we also talking about why these people will not be eliminated, stamped out. And some people are saying that denial could also be not to align with U.S. impression that the Christians are being persecuted in the country. Remember, $9 million was paid to lobbyists to launder our image after government found that IPOB had gone there to give out money to paint Nigeria as a country where Christians are killed, but they feel that they have to outdo and outbid up IPOB by paying a lobbyist about $9 million to say otherwise, to give a better narrative, to give a better story that Christians and Muslims are as well killed in the country. So this will not be allowed to dent that impression. But the U.S. team, they are in the country, and they have been querying quite a lot of things going on and saying that Nigeria needs to do more to stop this. But we'll be talking more of that when we come back from the break. We'll be right back.
When the stakes are high, the debates get hotter. When the issues demand clarity, we bring the fire. Welcome to Crossfire. Crossfire, where politics meets perspective, where issues are dissected, and where no topic is off limits. From the corridors of power to the pulse of the streets, we break down the politics, the controversies, and the decisions that shape our nation. Join Dr. Tony Olisanbeki as he puts guests on the hot seat, drilling them with the tough questions, demanding the hard truths, and leaving no room for half measures. Get ready for fearless conversations and uncompromising analysis. Crossfire, exclusive on Udala 104.7 FM Onitsha, every Saturday from 9 a.m.
A city of movement, a city of trade, a city of heritage. From the rays of the sun to the radiant glow of the river Niger, from the echoes of Ose Market to the silent prayers rising from the basilica. This city beats like a drum, loud, proud, and unyielding. And the drum finds its rhythm right here on Udala Radio, 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Adobe Nogo, Nana no de Danya, Namo Canelo.
Sounds. Udala. Before Buna Melody, Yobu, Tobango, one to Nuche Udala. Omelode, Jemen, Taco, the only Jemengala. Obi the Pony, Sambara, kissing your man chicken within the Nangasa. Never won the 4.7 Udala, Mechana, when you monitor. Or the woo on a regular. For the Katagood is spectacular. Family doings and the formula. Family gets a in the popular. You will lose it, come the couple. Fan on internet in the Babuna. Fan them interviews in the Babuna, Babuna, about to say, and then run out. Udala, Number one broadcast from Anambra. Udala mechane bezobala. Pande melu nisi na bolo kala lezele ndo budosi na fabo kanga. Na current affairs fabo kacha. Ina na sports fabo kacha. Entertainment fabo mamba. Ifende mene na fadawa. Udala no siki fano bibiwa. Nalo fana kafase me professional. Fana kuzife mota educational. Rulu masa zigaba international. Udala ni Udala ni Udala mu Udala mu Udala mu
When the stakes are high, the debates get hotter. When the issues demand clarity, we bring the fire. Welcome to Crossfire. Crossfire, where politics meets perspective, where issues are dissected, and where no topic is off limits. From the corridors of power to the pulse of the streets, we break down the politics, the controversies, and the decisions that shape our nation. Join Dr. Tony Olisangbeki as he puts guests on the hot seat, drilling them with the tough questions, demanding the hard truths, and leaving no room for half measures. Get ready for fearless conversations and uncompromising analysis. Crossfire, exclusive on Udala 104.7 FM Onitsha, every Saturday from 9 a.m.
You're welcome back. It's to Crossfire on Udala 104.7 FM on Nature. This very beautiful Saturday morning. We still have our guest in the studio, Chief Joe Martins Ozodike, was actually responding to the question we asked on the denial by the government. He's trying to let us know how information is managed. That is part of our daily lives. But do we continue in such circumstance owing to the fact that Nigerians seems to have lost trust in government? There seems to be a breakdown of anything fidelity when it comes between the Nigerian people and the government. But would we also appreciate that the pattern so far seems not to be working for the government? Because I don't know whether to call it appreciation or also to accept or acknowledge the fact. But in any case, let's come back to the real issue. Yes, there was a U-turn. Government made a U-turn immediately, and I said, remember, the impression, the torso, the perception where the United States of America believed that the country before now was persecuting Christians, but there was a recant where Trump also admitted that Muslims were also killed. But we later realized that that recant could have been as a result of the lobbyists who had done their own work for the job they were paid for. $9 million, I don't know what that amount means for people like you who travel outside the country, and what that could also what in countries where such amount was paid. But do you also like the fact that we have to pay such amount of money to lobby our image, and we have facts on ground seems to be against what we are lobbying, and possibly the U-turn and the U.S. government saying that we have to do more to ensure that Christians are protected? Does it mean that Christians are not protected? The last you were here, you said something that Christian persecution is real. But look at the whole thing at this point.
Well, it's an agenda which everyone knows. Even when I was a student, as far back as in the 70s, I knew about deepening the Quran at the ocean and whatever. These things were there, but the fact time changes, and a lot of people now, even the core Muslims themselves, are seeing the realities that we have to cohabit. We're a secular country, and we are stronger being a secular country, and they are seeing this fact. So the ideology of the people of the 70s and 60s are being moderated by new ingenuities that are operating within the ecosystem now. So we wouldn't expect, but some people who come, because most of the jihadists, we are told, come from the Sahel areas, they come from different countries where people are still not as educated as Nigerians, and not as, very, very backward people. They come in, they believe that idea can still sell. It can sell. I mean, you just waste lives and whatever. If you think you can just carry people on trailers and dump them into parts of the country where they don't exist, people are bound. And when they come in, they will see they face their relatives. I'm sure that a lot of people who came in from northern part of this country with intentions, into the east and whatever, when they come in and see how the easterners behave, and see we are more rugged and more rough than themselves, they just koto and follow the line and go to the trade, trade the trade for which they are trained to do. So it's not like that. But the issue of lobbying, Nigerians can go to any length. What are you laundering? What are you, image that is already on the ground that you are laundering? The only thing you can make here is to change your policies. Let the policies change. Do an all-inclusive government that every part of the country feels secured. All those whatnots. You can yesterday I saw that four ambassadors have been accredited to go to top countries and so on. And you look at them. One of them, the first person that was appointed to France, was okay. Ayodeloke. The man I came to the studio and told you how I was in P2B's flat, where the money that he emasculated, millions of dollars were kept in a full flat. In that flat, it was 5 cabinets, everyone filled with dollar, brand new, printed, all in envelope, in waterproofs, as mint as ever. Nigerians were shouting, who is the owner of this money? And it was long after that we discovered it belongs to him. That man now is being sent to France. And France is where Bola Tinubu is perceived to have his political enclave. That's his domain. That is the country he goes in and out every now and then. And then he's sending this man.
So what impression are you trying to create? Are you trying to make? What are you trying to say?
I'm just trying to tell you that. I'm trying to say, how would the ordinary Nigerian perceive this posting, knowing the character involved, and then relating him to the president who is governing us?
We are told that court letter cleared him. That's wrongdoing. That he was cleared by court. So if he's cleared by court, he's not free from this impurity.
When you are cleared by court and you are not cleared by the conscience of the masses, which one is the higher court? The masses or the individual who pronounces a judgment based on his own perception or what happened? I mean, you don't hide facts, okay? Reps is a loquitur. The facts speaks on itself. We come every day. We see. I said this one. I'm not talking about. I visited former Governor Peter Obi in the flat where he resides in Lagos, where he still resides up till today. That is his house in Lagos at Ikoyi. And I was there, and I told you how the banks were happening, and we thought Peter Obi was being arrested, only for us to find that on top of the flat there, at the third floor, the EFCC operatives were knocking down a building in order to bring out billions of dollars belonging to Nigerians. And you were telling me court cleared him of packing government money into a private home, in a private residence in Ikoyi.
Go
about it. Let's
when I said court cleared him,
yes,
I was meant to say, in fact, the way the case was struck up because the federal government filed for discontinuance of the matter.
So if the federal government says,
and the court struck it out,
because we're talking about a corrupt government, that's what we're operating here.
That was in 2023.
Yes,
the incident happened in 2017.
Oh, and then it took them years to clear him, and now he has been elevated to become our ambassador, our primus inter pares, in a faraway country called France. Okay, that he is going to, because that's the only country that will accept him. I can assure you that no other European country other than France
France corrupt.
Yeah,
when you say it's only France that will accept him, does it mean that France is also
the
corrupt?
president is part of France. Anytime we are told he's out of the country, his first port of call or last port of call or middle port of call must be France. And we have seen a lot of things happening between him, the Chagoris who are also in France and whatever. So France is his next home. I'm sure that if anything unto us, which we don't pray for, I mean, if he catches cold now, the first place he will land is in France. If he catches cold, he won't go to London, he will go to France, and from France, maybe take a walk to England, as usual.
The three contenders for the job in 2027, those who are aspiring, we have P2B, we have Atiku Abubakar, we have President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
You have
Kwankwaso. I'm saying the three top. Kwankwaso is not,
okay.
may not really be regarded as one of the top contenders. But then these three persons, which many political pundits have all admitted that they are three top aspirants. They have their domains outside the country. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his domain is France. Everybody knows that. Atiku is Dubai, United Arab Emirates. P2B is London. He has a house in London. He has a building in London to himself. And these are their places. So is anything wrong with that of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
Well,
when these people have their homes
I don't think
in their own
I don't think this aspect of our discussion is very...
you brought this. I just wanted us to clear something and
Peter
then move
will
on.
be ordinarily, by the time he left school, he left the University of Nigeria, had continued and continuously lived in London. That is where he has his family. All his children were born there. He lives there. Okay? Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not raise any single child in France. Atiku did not raise any single child in Dubai, except the ones that he will raise now, because he's a Muslim, so he continue to raise. So comparing and saying because every time we want to gather every person and join them together, all the other candidates, some of them lived overseas and came down. The SDP guy, they were all living in school and lived. So there are different scenarios. I'm only telling you that France is, the hideout of our president. That's where he takes respite. Which every person has the right to. Any person has a right to choose a country where you
like
deal
Buhari chose London.
Good. Buhari has been dealing with London. We never, even in Saudi Arabia, we didn't see him often. He was in London. That's where he was having his links. And myself too.
Your own domain is also...
Yes, I am in London more. In 2022, in 2002, yes, I contested for the governor of this state in 2003, okay, with P2B and Ngige. That year, after when I failed the election, when I failed woefully in the election, okay, the British government, through their office in Lagos, then wrote me a letter and said they have a record that I've entered London 100 times. In 2003, I had entered London 100 and when I was Secretary of Rangers, or when I was in Rangers, all our when we go to play in Algeria, Egypt, Morocco, all these places we play we go for football, we normally stop by in London. And all our bank account, the African Continental Bank, ACB, was domiciled in London. That's where we collect all the monies we spend when we go for our matches. So, and I was the errand boy that as soon as we recover one kobo, I will be in London. So all these things metamorphosed into my trips in London, and they were aggregating that. And based on that, they graciously said that all my siblings, all the children that I born directly with my wife, are entitled to visa, and they granted them 10 years visa in 2003.
So you're just telling us the benefit you had with the UK High Commission here in Nigeria.
So you can see why I have continuously. So
London is your hideout.
It's my hideout.
So every politician has a hideout.
Not politician. Every human being who has international relations or business has a place of anchor. Now, most of our traders have their anchor in China. Okay. So some have in Taiwan. Some have in.
So nothing is wrong with Bola Tinubu having his.
For goodness sake, I've never said anything is wrong with it. Perfect. I'm only saying that he appointed somebody of his own tribe, a Yoruba guy, who is perceived by Nigerians as having a question to answer. During the screening, You saw Nigerians raise up the fact that he hasn't cleared himself of whatever. That government pulled that and say, "Nolly prosecute, don't prosecute, don't charge him." It made the matter worse because we would have been able to see the trial and see how he gets himself out of it. But the government foreclosed that, and now they have promoted him to being the ambassador in France. And that is Nigeria for you. The more crime you commit, the more elevations you get in the system. And that's why I'm fed up with the system called politics.
You're fed up with the system, but you were once in politics. You've been in politics for
I've
over
been
4 decades. And
Yes.
your generation destroyed this country. And they put us in the mess we are in. You did not meet this mess, but your generation, many of them, put us in the mess we are in now.
When we commenced politics, everything was about truth. If you don't tell the people the truth, they won't vote for you. But now you can do a lot of things, and then you call out. You guys, the Gen Zs, the ones who now brandish phone and whatever, and do all your permutations, and even win the election on phone. It is you that are causing your own problem. Our own problem was straightforward. That time, if you tell lies, you are held, and forever you keep on denying that. You apologize for that lie until you.
It was your generation that brought about the first coup, because we thought about Nigerian independence.
No. How about leave about coup?
Let me say this. Remember
the coup was to correct the injustices that were going on in Nigeria.
But that's true. But then, who caused the injustices that were going on in Nigeria? Your generation.
The system caused it.
The system.
Because, people were forced into an amalgam.
Corruption gets enrooted in Nigeria during your generation.
People were forced into marriages that they didn't bargain for.
But apart from being forced to the marriage, does that also open doors for corruption by different groups, ethnic groups?
When you are asked to, when you are forced to marry somebody, then you must be forced to maintain that person. If you feel that this one is a big chick, I can't maintain him, and you are forced to go and marry him, you must be producing money in order to maintain the sophisticated person you have taken.
But we've seen situations whereby these politicians like Sofokotiebo, remember how flamboyant he was. Remember some of these first generation, I will call them First Republic politicians, even the Second Republic politicians. You belong to the class of Second Republic politicians. That's the class we belong. And we saw the 1983 election, which was one of the worst ever conducted in this country. It happened during your own time, and then your generation.
How can you say that the 1983 election was one of the worst? What makes it one of the worst? Because
that was what brought the military coup again. It was one of the grants. Remember what happened in Oyo State. Remember the story of Omorobio. You remember so many stories where elections were not won, but were declared by the Electoral Commission to be the opposite.
That was a new system into the politics. Where
that was 1983.
Yes, 1983. Yes, we lost the election here because Bishop Itore from Delta State or Edo State came and changed the results with the INEC officials. So, and we lost because it was an election GMO won clearly.
It happened in Bendel State and your state.
No. It didn't happen in all this. It didn't happen
in your state. But like it lost.
Yes,
and it was popular.
No, not being popular. We're talking about where elections were rigged. Okay. Where elections were rigged was the East Central State, that's Anambra area, and then Ajashi and Omobi-Oriowo. That was where, and in Omobi-Oriowo's case, Ajashi was returned. But in the same thing, they used the word is. They said is means criminality. Word is, I-S. That is the only ground, technicality. And it was a terrible decision that day, and it was one of the areas where we start seeing Nigerians beginning to drift, because that day in the Supreme Court, they came into the place with Jim Mobodo winning, following the other thing. But right inside that court, you saw somebody tore his own judgment and was trying to align with those who were formerly losers. They became winners. So, and it's a long story.
Why I'm saying this, I'm just bringing the memory back because I wanted to let you know that some of these places had their own issues. We saw severe ballot stuffing and falsification of results.
Where?
It was in Ondo State. And there was a violent protest.
In what year?
In 1983.
No.
In 1983.
Yes.
Yes. I'm just trying to let you know.
Ondo State is manned by Ajashi. And they brought in Omoboriowo to win him. And the court said he was wrong. And they declared the actual results. So things were still normal. It was still normal. Like you said, maybe that was one of the reasons why the Buhari group, felt that they can't tolerate this nonsense, and they staged the coup of 1983, which was 3 months after the swearing in of government. I was in government that time. I was serving in the State Executive Council. I was on leave when because we lost the election, and I proceeded on leave. And then by the time I came back in 3 months' time, the coup had already taken place, and I returned back to my seat.
Just like I was telling you, we saw some of these things happening in your own time, even in Bellendale State, which we saw Dr. Samuel Ubumudia of NPN, who was, before now, we saw Ambrose Ali, who was incumbent. Ubumudia defeating him. NPN, and it could be deemed that because NPN was a ruling party, they were able to knock out Professor Ambrose Ali. We saw some of these things, but then you were so much concerned about Anambra State, because in Anambra State something close to that happened where your principal Jim Wobodo lost to Dr. Christian Ono. You've told me the story one time ago. Even if you go to Cross River State, we saw how Chief Don Etebet of NPN was actually, trying to. A lot of things happened. I don't want to go deep into some of these things, but I'm just trying to let you know that I was just trying to let you know that your generation failed big time. These things happened on their time.
There was elections in all the states of the federation then. How many states we have then? We didn't have 36 states. We had an election, and only in 2 did we have election petition. Only in 2, and out of that 2, 1 succeeded. 1 was rigged out because a Kweme factor had to play a role here, and that resulted in a coup. So it shows you that the people were not ready to tolerate nonsense. People were already factions towards accepting that truth should prevail. But now it's no more the issue. And thereafter, things started to descend to the point that you can carry the ballot box and run away, write the result in your house, and it is declared. And the court will uphold it. So you can see the decline coming down until it got to the stage where we are now.
Now, I want to ask you, what is the difference between what President Bola Tinubu is doing now and what your generation did? Because during that time, MPN tried to muzzle every state. Muzzle state from UPN, muzzle state from the MPP, muzzle state from every political party, just to be in control. That was what happened in 1983. What is also, now people are saying that such a similar thing seems to be.
In 1983, we had only 2 states in the southeast. We had only Enugu as Anambra and Imo State. Only Mbakwe and
Anambra and the Imo State. That's what we had.
That's what they have. So
Mbakwe and the Jimo.
Yes, if you say they try to, they wanted to, just like every political party, their essence is to win everywhere. And Igbo is always top on the list. Any person who gets the Igbo people, he believes he has conquered the real enemies. Okay, they tried to out-muzzle Mbakwe, and Mbakwe shouted,
Mbakwe returned his seat.
I told you what happened to Jim Wobodo. Okay, my master. We were together with him last week. He's still my master. He brought me into the game. We were there, and we saw the result. The final result was collected. It was only for announcement, and they said they are waiting for some Abuja to give them go ahead to do the broadcast. And Jim decided that we should go. I wasn't part of those because I was small then, but I know that the likes of Max Yokota them, Osto Keke them, and the top people in the party, Robbie Weka them, they all insisted and said, "Don't go, let us be here." And Jim said he was going. That everything is normal. He has gotten assurance from Bishop Eiten, the state commissioner of police, who was in charge of the election, and we left. We were just entering the gate of the Lion House in Enugu when the announcement was made, and Jim, who was the winner, became the loser. And they said, go to court. And
that's the same go to court is still what we have now. You people started this go to court of a thing. And that's what we have now.
I don't know what you call you people.
Because that's the generation of politicians you belong to.
Nigeria
this go to court of a thing did not start today.
Nigeria, rather than take the technology of people who are ascending to perfection, we are declining, going to the abyss. That is where we are. And that is why, I mean, there is a limit to what you can take in this nonsense.
Now, why is it that when people are not in power, they will preach righteousness, they will preach goodness, they will preach accountability, they will preach transparency, but when they get into power, it becomes the opposite? Why is it so?
You will say, why are most people, you can use if you want to justify what you're saying, say, why do most people Okay? Because a lot of people go there and they preach what they do.
How many people have done that?
A lot of people.
How many people have done that? If
you
you tell
asking
me
me-
anybody, I will bring out the dossier of that person, the corruption related to
no,
I will do
no,
that.
listen.
If you tell me anybody now who has done that, I will bring out the dossier in the area of corruption.
I mean,
provable.
You can't
tell me the person.
You know, if I mention somebody now, you will start rambling because
I will dig.
No, I have dossier. Listen. I have dossier. I said you can't have dossier more than the government itself. Okay?
Government may not bring out their own.
I said,
but I can bring my own.
You know one man now in this country whom everyone is looking to find a fault with politically, and they have not been able to find it. And if they have found it, he won't be in the race. He won't be talking in Nigeria.
Let's not call anybody name. Let's not call anybody by name. But that person you are talking about, person you are talking about, I'm quite sure he has his own hands dent.
No, you see, you'll be saying what you cannot prove.
No.
And
the facts are there.
I said,
let's not go deep.
Don't talk about
we
facts.
We cannot demarcate anybody, but the facts are there.
Listen.
I'm listening.
You won't know more than all of us.
Yes.
And you won't know more than
the one you know. You may not want to talk.
Listen. I
said
the
one you know. You may not want to talk.
Listen. I don't want to. We better change the topic because we are very soon will degenerate into what is not necessary.
No, the truth is
I told you that if I am your opponent, and you have a dossier to deal with me in a competition where both of us are only the candidate, you must go to every length to do it, just like everyone is doing. Okay? If somebody stands by and says, the way we're talking here now doesn't make sense. Okay? We're talking about a system, where people have their own dossier. But let me. I was with somebody.
Remember, I'm an idiot.
I said I was with somebody over the weekend, and I was giving him dossier of our work.
Okay.
I'm not here to talk about myself.
Okay.
But I say it because I'm on radio.
Yeah.
Okay. I told them that I was commissioner. My last instance as a commissioner was under His Excellency P2B and Obiano. I served more in P2B's administration. And I told them that as Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, I never attended the word is any. I didn't attend any single tenders board meeting. That is to say,
that is under...
I mean under His Excellency P2B, where I was commissioner. I didn't appear before tenders board for one day. Why? Because there was no contract in my ministry. Okay? And yet, I was telling somebody too, the same person I said, yet, in the year 2012, 2013, I was the only commissioner who bought 2 trailer loads of rice for people in my ministry. Every goddamn staff of Anambra State Broadcasting Service, government press, library, Ministry of Information got 50 kg bag of rice. Okay. And people were wondering, this ministry that doesn't award contract, how come about it? Okay? And I told them, it was my style. We had to save costs. There were a lot of festivals we attended, cultural events we attended, and you find that there are about 9 staffs billed to travel. All these are blah, 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 blah. I'll call them and say, gentlemen, 3 staffs can do this job. Why 9? But because we got approval for 9, let us use this money for 9 and put it into the account of the ministry. Likewise in ABS, a lot of things, There are people who come to do menial repairs in ABS. And when they come to, after their repairs, they will come to the Honorable Commissioner and say, sir, you allowed us to come and do this job. This is your own. I'm not saying I'm a saint, but I will tell them, go to see the accountant from Okozo. Let me remember his name. And they will go and see him. And the person will come and say, okay, I say, put it in that account. And at the end of the year, all these trickles that came into our ministry made us very rich.
Okay.
And every person, no discrimination, messenger to permanent secretary, I said, this is where we are equals. So every person 50 kg bag of rice. Second year, there was a lot of petition. They're saying, why we there must be. I said the only discrimination this time around is that I'm going to give the same 50 bag of rice which I gave last year, but this time all those who are directors and above 1 carton of tomato for Christmas, and we did that. Okay, so people have their different styles of doing things.
To either to cut costs,
yes,
or to manage resources.
As to manage what you have in order to achieve optimally. We were asked to go and rebuild ABS, direct labor. I set up a committee to go and rebuild ABS.
But there was a budgetary approval. It was in the budget.
Yes, of course. Yes,
there was no bid.
It was called a direct labor, as rebuilding of ABS on it, not main ABS.
Direct labor.
Yes, and we went there. I set up a committee. They went there, and we were monitoring, going directly to the market to buy the things we used in building ABS. By the time we finished, we discovered that we haven't spent 70% of the money.
The money appropriated for
it.
So it was appropriated for.
Yes.
And you people decided to go through the other route.
You're not in government. In government, if it's contract, people will come and bid, and of course, in every bidding, you are allowed 27 to 30% of the profit, okay, for the contractor. That is his job. But if you do it directly, if you are buying things and building yourself, which is the option that was allowed for ABS, is a parastatal of his own, we went there as direct labor, and the ministry will monitor it. We monitored it, and at the end of it, we discovered that about 30% of the money was unused. And without making much noise, we went and built a guest house inside the same place with that 30%. No government request or approval, nothing. We just decided this money, people coming into ABS, they do night programs, they can't move from Awada back home, and we decided to invest that money and build a second building there, and when government saw it, they applauded it and were happy. So it depends on how
the style and everything. But then you wouldn't say why you were in government, and even your colleagues and other people that were in government, that they did not, for one reason or the other, have something that came to them, unofficially. Many of them became richer after serving in government. You also became richer.
Well, it will be funny for you to say I was richer when I was in government. Because you don't know me when I was in government.
So you are not corrupt.
I'm not talking about. I'm the most corrupt person on earth.
Oh, but you are the most
corrupt. I said
corrupt.
I'm the most corrupt. But you know that before I went into government, I am JJ Martins. And the whole Onitsha, the whole Enugu knows a company called JJ Martins, Nigerian Limited, advertising firm. And if you get to Enugu today and enter a taxi and say, drop me at JJ Martins bus stop, they will drop you at JJ Martins. So if I'm JJ Martins, then whether I'm richer or not richer, it means that I have tried my best, the little way I am, despite being the most corrupt person around you.
Somebody was asked the same question, and then he said that his father was very rich. Yeson Wike was asked the same question. He said his father was so rich that his father had many companies.
You are compared. I don't want to talk about.
But the issue is this. I remember when Amechi was also asked.
Talking about Yeson Wike.
I remember when Rotimi Amechi was asked if he's corrupt. He said he doesn't like money. He doesn't like money. That we should ask anybody around him. He doesn't like. See, politicians have.
But we are told again that it was the same Wike said it was Yeson Wike's wife, that Amechi's wife, that was doing all the jobs. He is the billionaire. He's this and that, not his boss, who is Amechi. So if Amechi said he doesn't like money. So we can clap for him, because if his wife likes it, doesn't make him to like it.
And you like money. Would you say you don't like money? But that's by the way. Let's talk about this impeachment brouhaha in Rivers State.
Yes.
It's actually impeachment 2.0. We saw the 1.0, now it's 2.0. We saw what happened where the chief judge of the state, Justice Simeon Chibuzamadi, declined to set up investigative panel, citing court order at Oyibo Division, where Justice Fiberoshima had made an order ex parte that investigative panel should not be set up pending the determination of the suit brought by Fubara, the governor, and also the one brought by the deputy governor. She gave two ex parte orders because these suits were filed differently. Now, the chief judge citing that very order by the State High Court in Oyimbo, and also urge that rule of law be respected. Well, we've seen appeal lodge at appeal courts, and we saw what happened yesterday, where the order was to expire because the oil exparte order was to last 7 days from 16th of January down to 23 of January. But hearing was up yesterday, but the judge said that this matter is hereby adjourned sine die, pending the outcome at the appeal court. So what is your take about this development? APC, they have made a statement, they have made some statement like the governor should be allowed to work, that he is the leader of the party. We have seen Yeson Wike battling with those who have made those statements, saying that the River State House of Assembly has every democratic right to impeach the governor. Where are we? What is going on?
Well, you have said all that is going on. You have finished the analysis. You have finished the information, and you're asking me. Anyway, I know that was what was going to play out. I know the impeachment program will start, and I knew also that they were not going to end it. There's no way they will end it. It's just, a scratch on a non-existent. As far as I'm concerned, I know the House has served notice, and, under the rules, they have to serve the notice, personally. And not being in good terms with the governor, there's no way they can give him a personal service. Okay? It is only when you have access to the governor, you have somebody who has access to the governor, that you can give him a personal service. But that's by the way. I know also that the governor will go to court, and the court will be a state court, and he will get an injunction, an expert application, which, when argued, will metamorphose into an injunction, a normal injunction, pending the determination of a suit. So when that act was performed, when they gave the order, I also know that the House will go on appeal. And once they go on appeal, that is where the journey starts. Because once the journey starts there, it will end in the Supreme Court. And for you to get a matter now started and get to the Supreme Court, in a case where the APC is now directly or indirectly involved in then it means it will not be hard. Judgment might be given by the Supreme Court on that question of ex parte after the 2027 re-election bid, just like they did in the question of the issue of the emergency rule. So they have started a normal trajectory in Nigeria, how cases die. You have just told me how Ayodele case, which started in 2017, was withdrawn in 2023. How many years? It was never had. And the only prosecutor was fired after 9 years or 8 years of his institutement. The same thing, once the APC is interested, like they have said they are interested, the matter will now lie. Of course, you have 90 days you have number of, I think, 90 days to file an appeal, and then there's no time limit for the appeal to be had. It is had at the discretion of the Court of Appeal. No.
So in this battle, who do you see that will come on top at the end of the day? Do you see Wike coming on top or Sifuba?
I see the federal government trying to unceremoniously and undisgracingly trying to eliminate Wike. Wike is now at the shore. They will want to show Nigerians that APC will want to show Nigerians we're not part of what Wike is doing at the last minute, and that's where they are angling. A national chairman of the party has started making a statement. And the national chairman of the party is the first citizen of that party. We are running parties differently. When the NPN chairman wants to speak, Shagari will sit as a floor member. In the front seat, they will all be in the front seat. At the high table, there is no appointee of government that stays at the high table when a political party is having a meeting. But now they have made governors leader of the party. They become the all and all. That is wrong. The party is the party, and candidates are candidates. Whether you won an election or don't won an election, it is now in Nigeria. They say once you are the governor, you become the leader of the party. Once you are president, you become the national leader. Such things doesn't exist before. The leader of the party is the chairman, national chairman of the party. He is the all and all. And it is when this thing started that people started having eyes on what is happening now. So, for the River State, I can tell you that just like the judge, when you were introducing, you gave an impression that he rescinded his order. Okay? that the judge rescinded the expert order.
No, he really suspended
What
the
he
whole
did-
thing.
what
Well,
he-
based on the
Because
lodgement
he
at the
was
appeal
supposed
court.
to, at the hearing, talk about the order, whether it goes on. But once he was shown an appeal, he became fontus officio, pending the determination of the case. So as it stands now,
Is the order still?
the order is subsisting.
But
because
it has
that
7
is what
days limit.
If it is not subsisting, what are they appealing for? That is the order. Once they have gone upstairs to the Court of Appeal, they are appealing that order be set aside, that it was not made. So as long as they are there, the order is subsisting. And that's what the Chief Judge has cleverly done. Because in the past, there are a lot of issues, the Oyo State issue, and a lot of issues where the Supreme Court has said that, you know the normal rule, that once an order is made by a court of competent jurisdiction, whether it is made in good faith, whether it is a bad order, it must be obeyed. So if somebody come and says down, don't eat anymore here. You should not eat anymore here. You must not eat here. Even what he has done purpose to tell you, for your fundamental rights determine that you can eat anywhere. Okay? But once the court makes an order, don't allow any court to make an order against you. That's what every person should learn. Because once that order is made, whether it is a stupid order or not, don't ever try to disobey it. Because if you do that, you will go to jail first before it is determined whether the law was right or wrong.
So you are saying that no matter how bad an order of the court is, that the most important thing, it must be vacated.
It must be obeyed by everybody.
It must be vacated.
Even by those who are above that person who made that order. You must obey it.
Because if you look around, the Speaker, Martin Amehule,
Yes.
really filed an appeal
Yes.
against the interim injunctions
Yes.
granted by River State High Court in
Yes.
Oyibo.
Yes.
You know, remember, just like I said earlier during my intro, that those interim orders were obtained by Governor Fubara and Ngozi ordered to prevent certain actions by the Assembly, especially to restrain the Chief Judge from acting further. So it was something the Assembly appealed at appeal court, so that the appellate court could determine whether the injunctions should remain in place, effectively seeking to have the High Court's restraint set aside.
You can be pretty
So the
sure, you
Assembly
can be
could
pretty
continue
sure that
its
before
impeachment.
these orders are determined by the Court of Appeal, those people in the House of Assembly would have stood for primaries for them to be re-elected into that's why I read in the social media, I don't know, these days I don't know which one is right, that Wike is now approaching the SDP in River State to see if he can use them to prompt some of those members of the State Assembly into contesting the next election. Because as things stand now, once they are attacking Wike, none of them will get the primary elections of the party. So
Because the party is not in support of what they are doing.
of course, and you can be sure that next year, when the election comes up for them, they will not be in the ballot.
And there seems to be two factions of APC in that very state. But
Yes.
will the party work with any or dissolve both and set up a caretaker committee?
I am sure that the party is working with both of them for now, but very soon they will find out which one is pro-Wike.
or even dissolve and set up a
They will
caretaker?
find out which one is pro-Wike and deal with it, because they are now. I listened to Buala on television, and the way he spoke told me that gave me an instance that Tinubu has taken a stand, and that stand is.
I said
Yes.
this, I was saying, Buala, remember, is a man that talks where his face.
Yes, of
Face,
course.
Did he get the consent of the president?
There's no way he can appear without getting the president's nod, especially when you saw the type of dress he was wearing.
But
that day.
look at the party national secretary,
Yes.
Felix Moka. He was drawn into that controversy. He tried to be on the fence. And he did, in fact, he denounced the very faction loyal to Fubara. He denounced that faction.
Well,
and he said that one Darlington, who is the publicity secretary of that very faction, does not even command that office that he used to be.
You
There's
see,
no more.
when a national secretary of a party speaks and is added to the insinuations you found out from the national chairman of the party, who said no person who is not a member of a party should be appointed a minister. Okay? He's not referring. There is no other person who is not a member of APC who is a minister except Wike. So we know the direction they are going. And you're talking about Felix Moka, who is an Igbo person of Delta extraction, who will always talk like an Igbo man. He will not. That's their style, and that's why he could not take a perfect stand. But here comes the Hausa chap Buala. He told you pump and plain. This man is the leader of the party. 001 card was given to him, normally reserved for a governor. Has been given to him. So any other person will have a card number below his own. A situation which Wike doesn't want to accept, but which he must accept as a fact, because they are now gradually. I saw the minutes of the ESCO, last Monday's ESCO they held, where it is said house divided on Wike's fate. So some ministers are saying, do this, others are saying, so the house is already breaking for one man. And for APC to allow his house to break for anything, they will throw it away.
Why is the president not talking in all of this?
He can't talk because when you are partners in crime, I didn't say they committed crime, but I'm giving you an example. When you are partners in crime, it's just like our boys here, they come every day and say, who trade on cocaine. They will say, this man is owing me. When you tell him, give me the details of the transaction, he will say, no. Ask him first whether he is owing me or not owing me. They will never tell you the transaction. So because you can't be a party to a crime. Illicit cocaine, marijuana, all these are illegal businesses. They are not authorized by law. So if you cannot go to court to get a remedy for any of them, you have to either resort to killing yourself or doing all the funny things people do in order to make money.
Let's talk more about the defection of the governor of Kano State, who has taken how many chairmen? 44 local government chairmen, the grassroots politicians, alongside with him, and he went with 8 House of Rep members and about 22 State House of Assembly members. He has gone to APC. He hasn't officially declared for APC, but he has resigned from NNP. But we know very well where he's heading to.
Well,
Tinubu seems to be collapsing every state into
that is
APC.
That is the problem. That's the problem. You see, he has set up gradually. They started by setting up, destabilizing all the parties. They went into Labour. We have faction in Labour. This man will win today. Tomorrow, the other man will win. They have gone to NNPC. They have set up the same thing. In PDP, they have set up the same thing. They are trying to set up. They have destroyed all the parties, with the result that all the parties have matters pending in court, of which they still have an eye because they control the judiciary. Unfortunately, they have an eye that whoever emerges from this will await the final judgment of either the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeal before the person enters into the ballot. Okay? So they have done that. And all the governors who are products of the same process have all decided to cling to APC, which they believe is the only party. But I want to assure you that all of them, most of them, will win their elections in APC, but their states will lose APC in the presidential election. That was exactly what happened to Jonathan during the 2015 election. Most of the PDP governors let loose their state, allow the wish of the people to manipulate, but they themselves, they won the election because they are doing one good thing or the other. So I wouldn't even be surprised that even the most popular as the governor of Kaduna State, who is doing very well as far as I'm concerned in that state.
Kano State?
I mean Kaduna State. I'm talking about Kaduna now. Ubasani. Yes. He's doing. I see his performance. He's doing well.
And he has been paying off the bandits. He has been giving them money, paying them.
I said he is perceived in his state as doing well. Okay. But he will find it difficult to deliver the presidential ticket of his party there. He will definitely find it difficult. So having said that, I also want to come to the idea of 44 members of the local government. Those people are not popular candidates. They are appointees of the governor. Anywhere you find local government chairmen, in situ, they are appointees of the governor. There are no elections. The people don't like them. The people didn't put them. They are put there to satisfy the whims and caprices of whoever is in power. In this instance, the governor. Okay? And the governor normally tries to satisfy those who played one role or the other for him in the election. It might be those who carried the ballot box. It might be those who brought popular candidates, and so on and so forth. Criteria are different, and they are left for the governor because in our present disposition, the state conducts the election and they appoint. So any person saying, I'm interested more that he went with 8 members of the Federal House. How many members do they have in the Federal House? That's what we begin to ask. And again, he's a product. The governor is a product of Kwankwanso himself. So he's not carrying the man who is taking. But I can assure you, I've listened to both sides, I've listened to Juan Kwanso. I've listened to Yusuf. None of them is insulting the other. And many a time, you can feel that they are in amalgamation. They are in concert. They are working together, but from different sides of the game. And at the end of it, they will reach the same destination.
I want to find out because there's something that you say that struck my mind.
Yes.
But I want to also look at it from different angle. Because in 2022, INEC brought a very rigorous process for registering a political party. In a way, more like new political party will not be registered. That's what it was perceived then, because of the stringent measures they brought out for any political party to be registered. And people perceive that to be a way to shut down registration of political parties, being that we had just AD, PDP, and then APP. You know, those parties we had, and many of them had gone into troubles and problems. And people perceive Obasanjo to be the arrowhead behind non-registration of political parties. But we saw the Court of Appeal in July 2022 reciting INEC registration guidelines, saying that it was rigorous and INEC couldn't have brought such a rigorous process. More like trying to liberate registration of political parties. It happened. Then Supreme Court in November upheld the decision of INEC, Appeal Court, who had in July struck down those guidelines. And Supreme Court upheld
what the constitution provided for.
And that was what led to registration of parties like ABGA and so many other political parties. And it was not good for Obasanjo because 2023 election was approaching. Now, you are insinuating, that's the insinuation.
No, you're talking about 2023 election.
Sorry, 2003 election was approaching then, because this happened in 2002.
Yes.
The Supreme Court ruling came sometime around November 2002. And 2003 election was approaching. Now, you are insinuating that Tinubu is trying to, not Tinubu anyway, the APC, they are trying to infuse problems in some political
I said they have already, they're not trying. All the political parties that are known political parties that are capable of bringing up candidates have problems. Why? And all the people who are contesting their from are all moving to the stable party, which is the APC. No. Okay? I can assure you also, just take it to the bank.
All right.
PDP will not have, I can't see them presenting a presidential candidate this year for the 2027 election.
What about Labour?
Labour will not present any.
Abure was sacked by federal court.
Abure has gone to Court of Appeal.
Again?
That court, yes, he's in Court of Appeal now. The art court will continue until after the election is finished. They are waiting to see if P2B will run back there so that they will say Abure is down the chairman again. You know, so all this is they are elementary political jingoism that they're playing.
What about NNPP? Is also factionalized.
Okay.
ADC. But we're gonna come back to that. Remember, in that defection,
yes,
Yusuf Kabiru went with 8 members of House of Representatives.
We have already said that. How many do they have?
24.
House of Reps.
Yes, they have 24.
And he went with 8.
So
that is to say the majority are with Kwankwaso.
Yes. And then he went with 22 members of State House Assembly out of 40.
Good. Beautiful. So you can see
he went with majority in the case of House of Assembly.
Listen. I told you here now. I said it's an RNG. What is happening in Kano is a proper setup of an RNG setup, whereby but in themselves they will allow the wills of the people of Kano State to prevail. What he's doing there is because the same people whom he's not going with, his deputy is not going with him. The deputy has said he's staying back with Kwankwaso, and they're not quarreling. The deputy.
Of course, the deputy said he's a member of Kwankwasia.
And he's not going. So you can have, it is a house, a political house that is well marshaled. That's what I expect our people from the south to be doing this type of game. Some will go here, some will go here. You know, like I told you that my grandfather, you know, all the 9 sons of Ejiofor, who is my great-grandfather, were in all the churches. They were first in Catholic, they were first in Anglican. They belong to all the denominations. But today, all of us are into one umbrella. Because the first son, Emejulu, is Catholic. All of us decided to go follow Emejulu.
So now, this defection, what does it pertain for? APC and Kwankwaso as a leader of that very movement. What does it pertain?
For APC, is giving them a false sense of hope. And let me tell you, what is what is now playing out is that APC will have just like we say, we control 30 governors, we control blah, 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 and they talk about it, when in actual fact, look at Edo State, for example, with the last governor, Obaseki, they couldn't get 5% of the votes cast. People be so everywhere. Okay? And that's why how it is going to be this year. You see, all the dramatic figures in Nigeria are circling into one political party. It is easy now to close that door, and once you lock that door, all of them will be inside one place. They can't run away. Okay? And if you want to bless them, you bless them well. If you don't want to bless them, then you discuss with them well.
Because APC will soon tell us that they have 30 state governors.
Yes.
Unprecedented.
Yes.
In the history of this very country.
Yes.
Are you saying that is a false sense of hope?
I said it's a very false sense of hope, because all the people who have gone there have given their reasons, and their reasons remain one. We are not sure of the party where we are to run an election there because it's unstable. Okay.
Why are these people not moving to ADC? ADC,
yes,
as we speak, has no governor.
ADC is a new creation. It just came into board, just a new creation. Yeah. But I can assure you, just take it between now and June. I will be here around June, so that you will see one.
Governor will join?
Of course, governors will be joined.
Who are the governors that are going to join?
The PDP governors. We have no loophole.
Remember Fintere Adamawa State? Yes. We saw him in London with Yeson Wike.
Listen,
and he's still in PDP.
He benefited.
And we saw back in there with Bola Tinubu the other day.
Listen. And you saw you have read what happened between Bola and what do you call him? And Tinubu. Okay? If you read the social media report on it, you know what actually transpired, which I believe is true. What he told him and what he didn't tell him.
Those things are social media.
No, don't worry. The fact remains that he came out and said, I remain in PDP.
I'm still comfortable in PDP.
I'm comfortable.
And then he has given his condition. Once you meet his terms and conditions, if he goes to APC.
So
they have their terms and conditions.
Listen.
Why Kwankwaso has not gone to APC is because his terms and conditions have not been given. He asked for the structure of the party in the state.
No. He made it point clear, speaking in Hausa, which I listened very well. He said, I will not go to any party that will not offer me either the president or the vice president. He said it in Hausa, and I listened to him very, very well. If you hear Hausa,
so what it means that if he goes to APC, that you would want the vice presidential ticket,
which will never go to him. Okay, the APC is already struggling with the idea of a Muslim ticket. Okay, they have won now with it, but with this American stick that you are trying to Islamize Nigeria, they are being cautious. I have even seen
recent persecution.
Yeah,
and people are saying that this thing is actually giving Tinubu a consign that he may likely change the vice president's who gonna be his running mate.
Yes.
So the vice presidential candidate of the party to be a Christian, to change the narrative before the US, because he wouldn't want the US to do anything against his re-election.
What is just faced between the devil and the deep sea. Okay? If you bring a Christian now in the north, who is definitely a very big minority in the place in terms of
they are mauling Yakubu Dogara.
Any person you like, mourn him. I'm just telling you that once you bring a southern Christian, you now energize the northern Muslims.
The northern Christian, you mean?
I mean, you now energize the northern Muslims to go against Tinubu.
And now the US.
Don't worry about the US will come in, when it is a Muslim. But if it's a Muslim Christian, they might allow you. Okay. They might allow you, but at the same time, don't take it to the bank.
All right. I wanted to ask you, between these two things, what do you see? Do you see Mr. President going on with Vice President Kachim Shettima, or do you see Mr. President changing his running mate to be a Northern Christian? But let's take a break. When we come back, you answer that before we open the phone lines. We'll be right back. Remember, these is Crossfire on Udala 104.7 FM. We have Chief Joe Martin Sozodike, who is our guest today, and we've seen how lively he is. You see how lively he is trying to really bring these political developments, bring them down, and then try as much as possible to find the connecting notes. Let's take a moment. When we come back, we'll continue.
ọrịa arụbara na ọrịa osinikuku akpọrọ rubella bụ ọrịa ogbu na nwayọ. Ha bụ ndị nke na-agbasa ngwa ngwa ma bụrụ nke na-akpatara mmadụ ikpu isi, imebi ụbụrụ isi, atụ ọpụọ, ọtụtụ mgbe na-abụ ọnwụ.
Ụbọchị ọbụla nwatakịrị ụmụafọ ala Naịjirịa nọ n'ihe egwu mana e nwere ozi ọma, ọgwụ mgbochi ga-echekwaba nwa gị. Gọọmenti Anambra steeti bụ ndị nke na-achịkọba ọrụ ịgba ọgwụ mgbochi malite n'ụmụaka ndị a mụrụ ọhụrụ wee ruo n'afọ 14 nke ga-amalite site n'abalị 4 ruo abalị 15 nke ọnwa Febrụwarị afọ 2026 iji wee chekwaba ụmụaka nọ n'ime steeti a pụọ na ya bụ ọrịa ogbu na nwayọ. Kpọga ụmụaka gị malite n'ọnwa 9 wee ruo n'afọ 14 maka ịgbagha ọgwụ mgbochi nyere ọrịa arụbara na ọrịa osinikuku akpọrọ rubella tata. Gbaa ụmụaka gị ọgwụ mgbochi ndị a niile malite n'ụbọchị a mụrụ ka. Ọ bụ na agbachanya bụ ọgwụ mgbochi ndị a ga-agakwa n'ihu wee na-agba ya n'ụlọ nlekọta ahụike niile e nwere n'ime steeti a. Ọgwụ mgbochi a dị mma ma na-arụ ọrụ gogo. Ọ bụkwa nke a kwụrụ ụgwọ ya site n'aka gọọmenti. Ya bụ echenekwa ka agwa gị gaa n'ụlọ nlekọta ahụike ọbụla dị gị nso ma ọ bụ n'ebe a na-agbanya bụ ọgwụ mgbochi. Abrapụkwana nwa gị n'akụkụ. Ozi a si n'aka gọọmenti Anambra steeti na ndị ga ha na-ejikọtara aka n'ọrụ ịgba ọgwụ mgbochi.
Quality bread, Wendy's bread, for your family breakfast. Wendy's bread, Abachi chane dozialo. Wendy's bread, mama papa they like Wendy's bread, chicha nenyandu. Wendy's bread, even children they like Wendy's bread, Wendy's bread, and in town. Wendy's bread, you get it better, tasty, we go sweet your belly. Wendy's bread, Wendy's your bachichoma. Wendy's bread,
Wendy's bread, tasty bread. You can contact us on our official address, 2nd Business Park, Enugu Road, GRA, beside FM Onitsha, Anambra State. We also have another branch at St. Michael Plaza at Tandy Road. Also contact us on 070-1149-1571. Wendy's bread, your tasty bread.
Wendy's bread.
When you think of roofing, think of strength. When you think of durability, think of beauty. And when you think of all three combined, think Best Aluminium MFG Limited. At Best Aluminium, we don't just manufacture roofing sheets. We create protection, comfort, and style for your home and business. Whether you're building from scratch or repairing an old roof, we have exactly what you need. Our products include stone-coated roofing sheets, aluminum roofing sheets, and colored roofing sheets. But that's not all. We also offer residential and commercial roofing services, roof repairs, gutters, emergency roofing services, and even durable cookwares that bring quality to your kitchen. Visit us today at 30/32 Anyika Street, Awada Obosi, Anambra State, or call us right now on 0806-416-2374 or 0706-059-6203. When the stakes are high, the debates get hotter. When the issues demand clarity, we bring the fire. Welcome to Crossfire. Crossfire, where politics meets perspective, where issues are dissected, and where no topic is off limits. From the corridors of power to the pulse of the streets, we break down the politics, the controversies, and the decisions that shape our nation. Join Dr. Tony Olisanbeki as he puts guests on the hot seat, drilling them with the tough questions, demanding the hard truths, and leaving no room for half measures. Get ready for fearless conversations and uncompromising analysis. Crossfire, exclusive on Udala 104.7 FM Onitsha, every Saturday from 9.
Yeah, welcome back. It's to Crossfire on Udala 104.7 FM. This very beautiful morning, and we are quick to open the phone lines because that's the only thing left. But before we do that, I would want to ask just one more question and expect our guests, Chief Joe Martins, who's on TK, to just go straight and answer this question. I'm going to ask this question: if Peter Obi goes in to run for president at the primary, and if he fails to make it, would Peter Obi accept VP position? Many people have been asking this question, and many people who believe that you're close to the man you worked under, who you call your principal, and also your junior in school. You've said a lot of things about him, but the question is, do you think he will accept being the vice presidential candidate of ADC?
Well, this type of question keep on repeating. The last time he ran for an public, I answered such questions, and it's still coming up. And people I see a lot of people making commentaries there. I want to give you a scenario. You get up from your quarter or your village, and you said you want to go and change something in your town union. You want the things happening in the town union are not good, and then you prepare somebody to go and become the chairman, to run for the chairman of the town union, so that he can correct those things. And the man gets there, and perchance, overwhelmingly, he was defeated as being chairman. He ran for the chairman and became second, and he was asked you are asked, can he remain as vice chairman or should he come home? I mean, people should answer that question. If you send somebody to go and be chairman and he goes there, loses being chairman, whether he can, and he's in a position to become the vice to the chairman, whether he can, you encourage him to be there. He has gone there to correct something. I'm not Peter Obi who will answer that question, but
I think it's sensible for him to accept that. It's logical.
Let me tell you,
Remember you said this the other time.
Yes.
There was a time you said it. That was in 2019 or 2023? There was a time you said that it is better. That's the easiest route to power.
Let me tell you, if you have been to Aso Rock, the seat of power in Nigeria, if you pass the first gate and pass the second gate, the third gate is where the president stays with the vice president. Okay? There is only one gate, a connecting gate, that place. The connecting gate between the president's lodge and the vice president's lodge. There's no security there. No single security. The door is not even locked. It's a strong iron door, but once you pull it, you from here you enter here. What does it show? It shows that the president and the vice president are one and the same persons. And that is why when the president is not, the vice is there. I keep on telling Ndibo, since Aso Rock was built in Abuja, no Igbo man has ever lived in any of these two buildings.
Any of the two buildings.
No single Igbo man has ever stayed there. Ndi Igbo, no opportunity to be there. Go there and live there.
And then there was this statement. I don't want to take time. There was this statement that says that it is difficult to trust Igbo man with presidential power at this point, that he may get there through vice presidential routes. But to entrust him, because there are people who are believing, who are saying quite a lot of things, because if you give them this power, they will start talking about Biafra, they will divide Nigeria, they will show this, they will. There had been this perception in some quarters. But some say that the easiest route for them will be through the vice president. Do you agree with those people who make such statements?
They are entitled to their own opinion. We can get it through the right channel. As things are in Nigeria now, we can get it. But I said, if we don't get it, let an Igbo man be forced as the vice president. If we get it, that is the best thing that can happen to you.
And that was how the South, the minority became president. They went through the channel of vice president. So I remember during their time, during the political era, in 1983, in the Second Republic, they were called a minority of the minorities.
Of course.
They are not even regarded in, they were called a minority of minorities, but over time they have overtaken Southeast. And they went through that channel through the vice presidential route. So you are saying that's the best thing for Igbo?
Yes, I'm advising the Igbo, let them stop joining in that statement that Obuna and Yoruba president, they don't want to go. No. Let us stay there. Okay? If we don't have a president and we have a vice president, when Ekweme was there, you don't know what happened, because most people were.
And then there was also this thought that join APC. If you get into APC, once President Bola Tinubu completes his term and then power shifts back to North, and Igbo man becomes vice president, it's also a route. Or is that one longer?
Who told you?
No, it is.
I'm telling you.
It is.
Who told you that the vice president that the next 8 years or whatever that you?
No, it has been brokered that once President Bola Tinubu finishes his term, power shifts back to the North, an Igbo man will become a candidate of APC. So a northern candidate who will be running for president and will be the vice president.
The northern candidate said he doesn't want to pick you, what will happen?
No, the party will make an arrangement because he's not going. Because he's going to be given that position a la carte. The way Obasanjo served it to the North a la carte, and then brought Jonathan from the South.
In politics, what you have, you hold. Don't talk about tomorrow.
All right, let's go.
Tomorrow might not come.
Let's open the phone line 0803-221-6973 or 0803-827-66 94. Opportunities are everywhere, but which one do you think is better? You are saying a better turn. What's more than those? I don't know. Let's go to the phone lines. Good morning, you're welcome. It's good to have you. You have to make it brave.
Good morning, Chief Dr. Tony Orisambeki.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Chief Barrister Joe Martin Ostadema Uzodike. Good morning to you.
Thank you. Happy New Year, my brother.
The same to you. My name is Ogochukwu, all the way from Udi, Enugu State.
You're welcome, Ogochukwu.
What I want to say here is very simple. 2027, I don't see any party defeating Bola Tinubu because this man has been in politics a very long time. He's a career politician. And secondly, I will advise our brother people not to accept to become the running mate of anybody, because if he does that, he's going to lose his popularity in this Southeast, because what Southeast is needed is that president. Thank you.
Okay, that's a thought. Dramatists will react to that later on. He said that P2B should not accept vice presidential ticket for any reason, but he also said that President Bola Tinubu is going to win anybody. So we understand those two positions. You will react to that later on. Good morning, you're welcome. It's good to have you.
Yeah, this guy on
Your name is what?
Ekpo, yeah.
All right, I couldn't get that. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, my people in the studio.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
We're hearing from the team, Elder Afrukwe from Ehab.
All right, Elder Afrukwe from Ihiala. Which part of Ihiala?
Please, hot bread is better than none. Let's accept the vice. From there, the president is close to our door. From here, I will tell him to go as vice. He will be there, have the idea of what is in the form to stand for presidency. That's from Michael Obiajo. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Michael Obiajo. That's the take. Good morning, you're welcome. It's good to have you.
Good morning, my chief speaker. Right,
you're welcome.
Tony Orisambeki.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
Chief Joe Martin Uzodike, you are really a political juggernaut. This is first of honorable, this is the mayor, Okutukume JP, Okulolo Tendo, Umwezeneke, Audan Novi. You are emceeing the first year's anniversary of Lacey Council. Can I go on?
Please go on. Yes. You're welcome. Please go on.
Tony Orisambeki, I can see you always enjoying this sitting with Joe Martin because you always take much of our time. Let me just quickly say, anybody that is saying or advising Igbo person not to become vice president is not doing Igbo people good. Why am I saying this? The way things are going, the only easiest way to get to that by Igbo person is through becoming a vice and find your way to that presidency. You see, like Joe Martin have just said, since that Asorok was built, what happens? Even I want to ask this as a question. Joe Martin, what happened? What is the reason why an Igbo person have not gotten to that Asorok? Maybe in one way or the other. What is the problem of the Igbo that makes them not to have ascent to that Asorok? Then I want to make it categorically clear. These will have a chance of becoming president if they fight with Kwankwaso. If he fights with Kwankwaso and win Kwankwaso, then he can become a president if Kwankwaso can support him. But if he cannot support him, let's see vie for vice president. Through there, he get to the president. Thank you and God bless.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to ask Joe Martin the same question. Would P2B pick Kwankwaso and both of them go without verification as Obasanjo is suggesting? Good morning. You're welcome. It's good to have you. Obiano, please go on with that thoughts.
I was so happy when I heard that you were the one that came to on board today.
We can't hear you very well. We can't hear you properly. Can you adjust the position? Are you still there?
Can you hear me now?
All right, we can hear you now. Go on.
Okay. I had everything this way. The truth is that what was so and YouTube, they are playing a wonderful practice in Kano State. But Yusuf, you want it back because it's about to hit the finger that is spreading him. And more APC has started to destroy practice in Nigeria. They are now starting this approaches to become a one-sided political party, which is not so. It's not part of democracy. And the people will not accept anything else than being the
right, thank you so much. Let's take some comments on Facebook and then we come back here. We have James. Okay, God, thank you. Our amiable guest in the studio. Truly, no one has dozier more than the system. Government is off. The danger of the fallacy of hasty generalization. The danger of the fallacy of hasty generalization. Of course, that's what you said, James. Okay, God, real arrange Bartholomew and Nede says. Thanks to Chief Joe Martins Uzodike, J.J. Uzodike, for always gracing this sanctuary with knowledge and history. Nigeria has happened to Nigerians spending $9 million to counter presumably a lobby by poor in a country where majority are living below poverty line is a shame. Right? Why is Jimmy Carter, says Honorable Jimmy Carter, why is Chief Joe Martins denying the fact that it was his generation that put us in this bad leadership and bribery and corruption we are suffering today? However, the worst of it all is that his generation has not even left us. Okay, leave the youth of this generation to take over. Okay, you mean that his generation has not left the youth of this generation to take over. The system has not given this generation a chance to step up. It baffles me that Tinubu and Atiku are still contesting for president of Nigeria in 2027 or the ago. Bridget GK Omog says, good morning, Udala. You people are doing marvelously well. Keep it up, my people. Okoye Angleka says, good morning, all in the studio. You guys are doing a great job. We have Ma Olebara, Dr. Ma Olebara from Owerri. Why is the president taking Igbos for a ride? That's why is President Tinubu taking Igbos for a ride. That's what you mean. Why is it that no Igbo man among the four of the main countries, okay, realized the Charter of Equity is judiciously applied? He goes to equity. Who goes to equity must go with clean hand. Tinubu goes on every day to prove his government's anti-Igbo stance by non-observance of federal character policy, non-inclusivity of Igbos in major political appointments, and a whole lot you said here. We don't have the time. Also, Francis Omaganaman watching live from Amagunza in Enugu State says, good morning, my people in the studio, and keep the good work. We have Sebastian Abigwe who says, right honorable Abigwe texting from Ugwaba Obosi, my special regards to our guest in the studio. Honestly, politics is dirty game. Even from the first era of former President Muhammad Buhari, though it has been metamorphosed geometrically under the wash of APC-led administration. The Collins Uzoma Uwakwe from Onitsha, thank you for keeping us informed. Okay, we have also Francis, I think we have read their own. We have got so many of these coming up. Let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning, you're welcome. It's good to have you. Hello, good morning. Are you there? Oh, so sorry. Call back. We are moving back to the phone lines. We are done with some of the. We are going to come back to Facebook later on anyway. If you have got any message, just drop it.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning, my speaker, Tony Beckett.
You're welcome.
And good morning, Dikudo. Okay, Titi.
Thank you.
I'm my own man. I want to ask you, I remind you what you said during last election. I asked this question one day, but you don't answer that question. And now you have made it clear. You said during that time, when P2B was vying for primary candidate, vying for primary, that if you have to tell them to enter your motor without knowing where you are going, just drop into vice president office. That Igbo needed vice president. And he made a point that it's better to be second than not to be at all. And our people are already start shouting, we don't want second children, we want to place one children. Any Igbo who decided to be vice, we would deny him. And what then happened? And people move away from political. And the president, vice, third, fourth, reach us again. So I buy that idea. That's why I say you are academics. Had it been that our people into that advice for being in power now, because if you take the vote of article and vote of the article P2B, they have to class Tinubu vote, or they miss this target. I said it before that P2B going out of a PDP gave
get that. Honorable Ignatius, we got that. Because of time, we have to let you go. Thank you so much. Because of time, we have to really leave it at this point. Let's see if we can just muzzle in one call, and that will do it for us. Because we've got so many calls coming in, but we have to take as much as we can. You guys have to take it easy. All right, take it easy.
Good morning.
You're welcome. It's good to have
Dr.
you.
Tony Zambik.
You're welcome.
And good morning to you, Dick Udo of OKT.
Good morning, my brother. Happy New Year.
Chidi Chukuma joining you from Po. On the issue of P2B joining being the vice president or gunning for the vice president, P2B is not a deliberate politician like that. And also, how can he join somebody, go with somebody, they have a different political ideology, and somebody that you are far better than? I don't think that P2B will buy that idea.
Of being Atiku's vice president. Okay.
I don't think that one
as an obedient you are. Okay.
P2B is far better than the person you are talking about. There is no way he can go for the vice at all. And on the issue of what is going on in River State, you see that in Nigeria we don't learn from the history. And we don't even learn from anything at all. And that is why the history keeps repeating itself. I think this man, the former governor of River State, Wike, is now a drawing man. For the look of things, he's a drawing man, and I don't think that he can make it as of now.
All right.
I just want to disgrace himself. Power is transit, you know, and that is why he's supposed to throw in the towel. You can't be hero all the time, because that position is not your birthright. Somebody has been there before you. How can you keep on manipulating? And if you are looking for Mr. President to help you, I don't think that he will do so, because
all right. We got that. Because of time, we have to let you go. We have to let you go. We have to manage our time. Thank you so much for your takes. Let's quickly run back to our guest. You listen to comments, submissions, and thoughts of our listeners on some of the things we discussed here. Well, let's get their reaction and final statement as well, so that we leave this very place.
Well, a lot of people left all the other things we've discussed. They are just focusing on the last question of P2B and the vice president. We're not discussing P2B as and vice presidential ticket. What we're discussing is Igbos and vice presidential ticket.
Yeah.
Igbos. Today, in Nigeria setup, Igbo, the highest Igbo man we have is number 7 in the polity. Number 7. And we're saying Nigeria is a tripod where Igbos are there, Hausas and Yorubas. That's supposed to be taught. But today, where we are is number 7. That's where we drifted to. The highest officer we have in the polity of this country is the deputy House of Reps speaker. None of the parastatals, the judiciary, the legislature, the executive. We're nowhere.
So it's not about P2B. It's not a P2B thing.
P2B.
You know, for people, so many people are talking about P2B, but you are talking about Igbo as a nation.
Igbo.
Not P2B.
Of which Peter is one person.
And it mustn't be P2B who will be there as the vice president.
Why shouldn't
the other Igbo people?
Yes, assuming P2B loses and they, and we're being offered the vice president in ADC, for example, where they're going. Why shouldn't the likes of Abaribe, the likes of other people be named as a vice president?
Even Soludo be named too as a vice presidential candidate.
Of course, he's a governor, but if he wants to go, why wouldn't he? Okay, we're talking about Igbos. We're talking about the
and
office.
You said since the
Abuja
building was, that I said rock. You said it.
I said no Igbo person
has occupied that
place.
And it's astonishing.
It's terrible.
It's astonishing.
So, look at the number of years, and people are still talking about P2B and not P2B. P2B knows what he wants. We are projecting him. He's projecting himself, and I'm supporting him to go and become the president. But I am of the view that where he fails to, and we have an opportunity of putting him as vice president. The vice president has 68 functions in our constitution. He's the chairman of the economic. What I'm talking in Nigeria about is about the economy. As far as I'm concerned, he's knowledgeable in it, as opposed to even the security. Okay? Which is not his area of specialization. All he's talking about development of Nigeria, blah, 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 Nigeria. If you have an opportunity to offer it, why don't you
find it? So you are saying that for you to serve your country,
Yes.
it must not be
of course
from the position of the president first.
Why-
there are
why-
other ways you can serve your country. It mustn't be from the position of the president.
I can assure you down, even this year.
With obedience,
Even now,
understand what you're
Shetima
saying.
has offered more to Nigeria than Tinubu, who is the president. Offered more.
It was at the UN General Assembly many times.
Everywhere we have been represented is the one who is representing us. And is bringing out our stance.
But then who takes political decision is President Bola Tinubu.
Don't worry about
who makes
political
appointments.
Look,
Who does a lot.
all the major outside the ones where the president is interested directly, all the other ancillaries where the president is not looking his face, the vice president has. Even those from the southeast who are appointed, they are close allies of the vice president. But we don't want to talk about that. Let's leave it about.
All right. Let's quickly conclude because we have other things. We spoke about other things. I think I also let you know now that the national leaders and then other party leaders of APC that have joined their national chairman in the statement he made. Of course, the news is everywhere this morning. That's the whole thing is that they called on the National Assembly to take over the legislative role in the River State and allow the governor to work. Since the assembly members have decided not to work, that they are calling on the National Assembly to take over that legislative role that they have decided not to work. So these are members of APC, national members. They are making these statements. I would have called their names, but time will not permit me.
I think Wike is done for it. I mean, they just want to ditch him, and it's quite unfortunate. But he's the architect of his own flight, so that is his business. So I mean. It doesn't. I don't see what he's looking for there. Building a structure, you want to keep on creating governors and whatever. I mean, it doesn't.
He wants to replicate what Bola Tinubu did in Lagos State. Is that bad?
He wants to become another Bola.
Yes.
And they think that the people of Lagos are supporting Bola. You saw what they did in the election.
But he has been the one producing governor.
We had
His bloc has been
990 something thousand votes there.
And what happened? Let's say thank you so much, Chief John Martin Suzodike KTT, for your time this very morning. It's good having you after a long period of time.
Let me make one statement. I overheard in the news that His Excellency Charles Soludo is trying to dualize the Nkwele Territory Road to this. If he does that, that will be the greatest thing that has ever happened to this state.
Are you serious? That dualization of the territory road.
Fantastic.
The works we are told have
there was nothing we didn't do under P2B to get it started, and I don't know what distracted it. Tobiano came. That was the first assignment P2B handed over. Say, please do this. And now Charles Nwamafo, Mr. Solution is coming from Swafia to come and do it. Farthest place to come and do it. If he does it, I mean, every other thing is. I don't know.
Thank you so much.
Let that road be commissioned. Let me just, if I see it commissioned, I'll go there and be standing there all night and all day. Let the doors be pouring me and let that place be open because it will be a great entrance into the state.
All right, thank you so much, Joe Martins, for your time. Thank you so much, our listeners, wherever you listen to us from. Those of you who made their comments, those who sent messages, those who called in, and those who listened without calling in, we appreciate every one of you. We have to leave it at this point until we reconvene next week, Saturday, on another edition of Crossfire. Do have a blessed day. My name is Tony Olisambeki, the Honorable Speaker.